Hi everyone, so I'm finally getting around to finishing the Ross Trevor video from our little trip over Easter and just a few other things from the Easter holidays. Yeah, I love that sign. That I just love all of walking around the town and finding all of the little quotes on the walls, and it's just such an inspiring place to be. The time we spent there was quite simple and peaceful, and we spent most of our time in the park, but I don't know, it just makes you think about life in a different way, and it just feels like a slower pace than what we have where we live. The girls were enjoying pretending this was a train track and that there were trains going along it. This was just a little yellow flower that was in a cafe that we stopped at. We spent so much time in Kilbrony Park. This was just in the cafe where the girls got an ice cream and an ice lolly, and I got some coffee. And then this is back in Good Crack, the little gift shop that we love. The girls ask to go to it every day. Thankfully it's actually kind of affordable, and it has little things for kids, so we can afford to do that. I just had a look upstairs as well out of curiosity to see what was there, and it's mostly paintings and things. I did buy a little felt picture, I think, from there before, and I don't know, it's just it's an activity in itself because there's just so much to look at, and it has a really peaceful atmosphere. You don't feel like you're in the way, or you would get chucked out of the shop. This is from a couple of weeks ago now, and I'm just getting a chance to kind of catch up on videos, so I'll probably put another one out soon as well with what we've been doing more recently. I just decided to take a break from YouTube to think about whether I wanted to continue with it or not. I was getting quite a lot of negative comments on my shorts, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to keep going with it. I think I've just decided to kind of cut back a bit and not post as frequently, and I might stay away from putting up the bad day shorts because they particularly seem to attract a lot of negative attention for some reason. But I don't know, we'll see. I think I would like to put more time into the longer content as well, because that was why I started the channel, and the shorts just kind of were something that I came across and just happened to do later on, but they have been helpful in helping me reach other people and things, and there has been some positivity from it. It's just that I needed to think about if I was prepared to basically keep going, and I think for now I am. I just need to make sure that I'm kind of keeping a bit of distance from it, and also making enough time for my own life without everything kind of being filmed. I think that's the danger of kind of being online. I even find that with blogging, doing written posts, you start to take photos of things to document what you're doing as you do it, but then when you do it all the time it starts to feel a bit invasive. The weather was a bit kind of broody, and the sky was really beautiful. I love when it looks all kind of cloudy at the tops of the hills, and yeah, the girls just love a wall to skip along. This was in Warren Point, which is near the town we were staying in, and we just went for a little walk on the pier and along the seafront, or well, it's actually a loch, and then we just went round the town. We were quite lucky in that it didn't rain on us the whole time. My daughter loves dandelion clocks, they always spot every single one. And then this was just later in the day. We went to the beach in Ross Trevor. We always walk around there when we're staying, and we're always the only ones there. It's really peaceful. And my daughter likes to look for beach or sea glass on the beach. And I don't know, I think I just liked to slow down a bit, and I really felt like the holiday kind of refreshed me, and we needed it after all of the running around all term. So yeah, and it just feels really far away from home for some reason, even though it probably only takes about an hour and a bit to get there in the car. We spent a lot of time just doing things my kids were throwing rocks into water and stuff like that, and I just seeing them get a chance to be kids and sort of poke around in the dirt. We went for a drive towards Silent Valley. I can't remember the name of this place. It was I think it's a reservoir, and I just thought it was quite pretty. We got out of the car here and just sort of explored a little bit. It was really peaceful too. The drive towards Hilltown from Rostrevor is so beautiful. Like, the scenery is just like stunning, and yeah, like we found lots of little waterfalls and things like that. We were planning on going to Silent Valley as well, but it started to rain when we got back in the car, so we just headed back to the house we're staying at. For some reason, like, I never think to go for a drive. Like, maybe it sometimes feels like a waste of petrol, but whenever we're there, it doesn't feel like that. I think it's because the scenery is so special and it feels like an activity. It's like something to do whenever the rain starts, basically. I think also because there are limited activities to do in Rostrevor when it does start raining. And whenever we stay there, we end up spending most of our time at the Fairy Glen or in Kilburney Park, but I don't feel like we ever get tired of it. And we mostly just ate in the Airbnb, and I brought food with us. One night we got takeaway from like a little chip shop that's in the town and brought it back to the house. And yeah, in the summer we ate beside this Fairy Glen, but it was kind of like, it just wasn't warm enough for it yet. It feels like wherever we go, my kids are always climbing on something. Like, they love climbing on a wall. And they were doing like dance performances for me here. And yeah, like, I just love sitting beside the Fairy Glen and thinking about things and just like playing with them, or having like coffee there. It's just so peaceful, and like watching the sky, it just like, I don't know, it felt like a real mental holiday. And there's something about that area that makes you feel like you've stepped back in time. It kind of reminds me of whenever I was a kid. Maybe it's also just because you can switch off from your responsibilities a bit when you're away, and you're not like working through this massive to-do list all the time. The girls love this tree and climbing in it. They could like spend hours in it, and they're really good at climbing trees, actually, like even really big ones. Like, I never would have been brave enough to go very high. Yeah, and then we did the C.S. Lewis Trail again, and the girls don't seem to mind if it's repetitive when we're there. There's just like a different kind of feel to the place. Like, I feel like at home they're harder to satisfy in a way, but yeah, this is one of their dance performances that they did on the table at the C.S. Lewis Trail. And then this was after we got back home. We headed towards the museum, and this is just us cutting through the park to get there, and all of the spring flowers are out. It was an Easter tour and it said it was for everyone, but to be honest, whenever we went to it, I found it quite dry, and like, even some of the adults at it, like, I felt like they seemed bored. I wouldn't get bored easily, and I don't know, I just felt like it was all a bit like heavy, and we were kind of rushing from one section of the museum to the next and not really getting to see everything. But the girls were really patient while they were at it. They didn't complain or anything. And then after we got to go to the ravine, we had a picnic in Botanic Gardens. I love going in here and looking at all the plants and just like feeling the humidity and pretending I'm like away abroad somewhere sunny. And we saw some bananas starting to grow and some like really colourful flowers. And I love the fact that in Botanic Gardens there's like so much to do, all kind of concentrated in one sort of smallish space. Like, there's the park, the ravine, the Palm House, and there's the museum. There's a playground for the kids. There's like the bandstand at different places you can sit and have a picnic, and just like different places to walk in, and all of it's like free. So yeah, that helps as well, because I'm back in budgeting mode after having been away on holiday, and I'm just trying to like dream up like cheap activities to do with the girls all the time. These are the fish downstairs in it, and they always like to stop and have a look at them. And of course there always has to be time for an ice cream for the girls. I kind of wish there'd be more like lactose free ice cream, like available at ice cream vans and stuff, because I can never get one whenever we're anywhere other than like particular shops. But yeah, the same place does bubble tea, but they had run out of it that day. This is just like after we went back into the museum and the girls got to look in the history room, and my daughter made a mini museum. They just had some instructions and like little pictures you could cut out to stick inside it to like use it as rooms or different areas of your mini museum. And this is just where they have the like Egyptian, I always forget how you say that word, is it hieroglyphics? And they have them like kind of engraved into the metal, and then you can do like rubbings to transfer it onto paper. So my daughter was doing that. And this is upstairs in the art room. She was all excited when she found a little tea party area for kids. They do have a lot at the minute to keep kids entertained, and I just like the fact that there's so much inspiration around. Like everywhere you look, it just gives you ideas and like things that you can do at home as well. And I like to look at the view from the windows. And at the same time, my other daughter was working on a rainbow Easter egg picture. She always goes straight for the drawing and like painting and things like that. It's funny the way they have different interests. My other daughter's just like very dramatic, and she always wants to perform and dress up, and she loves these picture frames where there's a dressing up box and they can stand behind them and get like pictures taken and stuff. And then these are just like little blocks, and they were building their own versions of the museum, I think. And then this is just another day at home when they did some like egg painting, and then they just like rolled them in the garden. We also did this another day with their cousins. And yeah, thanks for joining us for our adventures, and I'll make another video soon. Bye.